Mr. President,
The senator from Iowa.
I ask that the calling of the quorum be suspended.
Without objection.
Before I speak, I have a unanimous consent request. I have 5 requests for committees to meet during today's session of the Senate. They have the approval of the majority and minority leaders, so I ask consent.
Without objection.
Okay. I support Mr. Rosenstein's nomination to be a Deputy Attorney General. Not only is he very experienced and an accomplished attorney, he served in the Justice Department for almost 3 decades under 5 different presidents, but he served as a U.S. Attorney for the District of Maryland under both Presidents Bush and Obama. I think that's a very rare record of service. During his nominations hearing to be Deputy Attorney General, Mr. Rosenstein promised us that he would, quote, work to defend the integrity and independence of our Justice Department, to protect public safety, to preserve civil rights, to pursue justice, to advance the rule of law, and to promote public confidence. End of his quote. However, many members have mentioned that they're concerned about the FBI director's announcement of an investigation of Russia, and during his nomination hearing, Mr. Rosenstein was repeatedly asked if he would commit to appointing a special counsel to handle any investigation in that matter dealing with Russia. Now, I was impressed with his unfailing commitment to independence when he answered these questions. So, rather than prejudge investigations before he knows the facts, he unwaveringly promised to make decisions only after thoroughly reviewing all the relevant information of any particular case. He committed to not prejudge the situation before he knew the facts. And he committed to conducting every investigation with independence. I personally believe that Mr. Rosenstein possesses the necessary independence to conduct any investigation of this type. He told us that he'd never met with Russian officials, nor has he spoken to the President or the Attorney General about this matter in any way. And he spoke in great lengths about his career-long commitment to independence and to conduct his work free from political concerns. In fact, we already know that he has a well-known reputation for independence. So we have this very good example. In 2012, Attorney General Holder specifically asked Mr. Rosenstein to handle a special investigation into the leaks of classified information because of, and I'd say solely because of his reputation for independence and impartiality. When Republicans suggested a special prosecutor might be appropriate, members of the Judiciary Committee assured us that none was necessary precisely because Mr. Rosenstein was at the helm of the investigation. One member of the committee described him as a scrupulous man, quote unquote, and independent, quote unquote. There was, continuing to quote, no reason to believe why he cannot work with the FBI and assemble a very strong prosecution team where warranted, end of quote. Mr. Rosenstein is still scrupulous and still independent, as he demonstrated at his Q&A with the members of the committee. If Mr. Rosenstein could conduct an investigation with independence because Holder asked him to do it, then he can certainly do it now. Furthermore, Mr. Rosenstein comes with high recommendations from a bipartisan list of former attorneys general and deputy attorneys general, and he comes with high recommendations from his home state senators, current and former, and probably all of those fall into the category of being Democrats, and so that ought to give further weight to his independence, particularly when you have a Republican president and Democrat senators are expressing those views. I want to quote one, former Senator Mikulski, whom we all know, wrote the committee and told us that he will be a, quote, strong, experienced leader at the Justice Department who is fair and committed to the equal application of our laws. And in these polarized times, now, more than ever, we need a strong, experienced leader at the Department of Justice who is fair and committed to the equal application of our laws. I hope the Senate will confirm Rod Rosenstein for this important position, and a quote from former Senator Mikulski of Maryland. The other Maryland senator, our colleague now, Senator Cardin, described all of Mr. Rosenstein's professional accomplishments when he was introducing Mr. Rosenstein at the hearing. He said, quote, "What impresses me the most, he has done this in a total nonpartisan matter," end quote. And then Senator Cardin concluded by saying, quote, "I think Mr. Rosenstein is the right person at the right time to be Deputy Attorney General," end of quote. Finally, James Cole, who happens to be President Obama's Deputy Attorney General, wrote to inform the committee that Mr. Rosenstein will respect the need for the department, quote, "to not only enforce the laws, but to also maintain a level of independence that enables it to have credibility in the eyes of our citizens," end of quote. From all I see and know about him, I believe Mr. Rosenstein will keep his promise for integrity and independence. He promised us, if he is confirmed as Deputy Attorney General, quote, "all investigations under my supervision will be initiated and conducted in a fair, professional, and impartial manner without regard to political considerations," end of quote. It seems to me that we can't ask for anything more from any appointee to be this important position of Deputy Attorney General. So I urge all my colleagues to join me in voting to confirm Mr. Rosenstein to be Deputy Attorney General. I yield the floor and suggest the absence of a quorum.